I was telling Diana as we were going through that I have done some version of this subject all week. On Wednesday, we did a watercolor version. On Friday, we did an acrylic version. And now I'm going to do an oil version. And I kept looking for different orange pictures. But what I really like about this is that we're going to be able to talk a little bit about perspective, like what's happening as these oranges go away from us and how to convey that. And we're going to be able to practice color mixing with just one color. So now what we're going to start doing is moving it to subjects, but very simple subjects where we only have to do 1 or 2 mixes per lesson so that we can really focus on the lessons, if that makes sense. So you can go ahead. So today is going to be oil, although of course anybody's welcome to do this in any medium or acrylic because acrylic is very close.
I did it in acrylic.
Diana did it in acrylic. She can send it across.
I can hold it up. That's
hold it up. Let's see. Hold on. It's so cute. I know I did mine in acrylic too. It's really, let's see. Yeah, it's cute.
Nice.
Right? So we're going to skip that kind of background. We're going to pick our own backgrounds. We're going to but mostly we're really going to focus on the drawing of this. And so one of the things I wanted to show you as we were, here, hold on, I want my, but I got this at a garage sale. I love these things that you can kind of unfold to make a longer.
Oh, I did.
You know, one of these things.
Yeah.
So great. I have one in yellow. And so I have them all, now I've placed them kind of all over the, oh, you know, this is interesting.
In Swedish, we call them tumstock.
What are they called? What are they called?
Tumstock.
Tumstock. I love my tumstock. All right. I'm going to sketch. And because this is sort of flat here, we're going to build a little envelope of shape, which I'll have you do. Can you do that? Yeah, I guess we'll do this too. I'm going to kind of do this over and then there we go. Do this. They're great. These tumstoches are great, but it's just a little bit tricky to manipulate. All right. So I'll send a picture of this so you guys can see it. Although it's actually, the visuals are pretty good today. Yeah.
What is that, 8 by 10?
I mean, this is a printout.
It's a what?
So this is a printout. So it's an 8.5 by 11, but it doesn't fill up here. And I just took something in half. You could be kind of flexible as long as you've got it on a horizontal. That's kind of the most important thing. So you're going to see here that I have this box. So I'm doing this a little differently too as well, because I was thinking it would be helpful for people to see. So this is kind of the front. If I was to draw these in a little kind of rectangular box, here's the front of the box, and here are the sides of the box. So as you're sketching, as you're starting to sketch with your pencil, go ahead and give yourself, and I would kind of go from pretty much the top, not the full top, because you want to leave enough room for your stems, right? So you're kind of going to give yourself a narrow rectangle here. And then I would locate, what I can see is, let's see, I'm really going to get about 1/3 the size. I'm measuring this space, distance between here and here. It's about 1/3 of this height. I'm putting my, and then I'm going to draw from the edge here, a line up there, and from the edge here, a line down there. And so my oranges will fit and really, well, we'll talk about that.
Well, that's ingenious.
Right? So tell me something. Are these oranges the same size?
In reality, they are probably.
Yes, in reality they are, right? But when we're drawing them, they don't look like they are. Pat, why is that true?
Because one is farther away than the other.
Actually, two are farther away.
Two are
right?
farther away than the other.
Yeah, two are farther away, one is close up. So even though these oranges are, so one of the things that we know, and also, are any of these oranges levitating? Are they levitating? Jessica really liked it when I asked this question. Are the oranges levitating?
No.
Well, then why are they rising up as they go away from us? They're sitting flat on this. So these oranges are the same size. They're sitting flat on the table. Why does it not look like that?
Same reason?
They're farther away. And
Okay.
so they're going to appear to be moving up and getting narrower as they go away from us. Shorter, narrower, and they'll appear to be rising up, even though they aren't. Right? They're sitting flat on the table. But
And
the
the table
rules
is
of
flat.
right, the table is flat. The oranges are laying flat, but it does not look like they're laying flat. So that's the key. That's what I want you to take away from this. Perspective means that as things go away from us, they rise up, they become more slanted, and they become smaller.
Ouch.
That makes any sense at all. Let's look at one or two other measurements. Oh, whoops. You know what? I don't want to do any more of this. We'll draw on the black and white. Sorry. I should have drawn on the color one. Oh, I think I have another one of those. We'll see. Let's see. I'm going to sketch.
I poured white paint all over myself.
Ah, blah.
Well,
Go. So you want to start by sketching this. And then the second thing we'll do is kind of run a, where's my line? What did I just do with it? It's amazing how quickly I lose the, oh, there it is. It fell on the ground. My new little toy, my new ruler. So all of these lines that I'm drawing that aren't really here, they're important. They're important because they show relationships, right, to things. So here's another relationship. Here, you go in here so I don't have to do that. So here's another relationship. If I go the width of this entire orange and I check it, look what happens. The width of this entire orange is more, it's like basically half the distance to the very edge of the paper. In fact, a little bit more. About half. Can you see that? So from here to the very edge of the paper, or like the very edge here, is halfway. So as I'm sketching, I can also draw a line through here. Oops. Right? And I can figure out where this orange ends by finding the halfway point. I can do that in a couple of different ways. The way I encourage you to do that is not to use a ruler. I encourage you to kind of look and guess and then check. One. Oh, totally wrong. Move it back a bit. Sometimes you're on, sometimes you're off. There we go. So I've kind of checked this. You can also take a ruler and find the halfway point, but I just think that gets you too caught up in numbers, which can mess with people's heads. Hey, Sandra.
Hey, Leo.
hey, Sandra, I was missing you.
Thank
That's so
you.
cute. Very cute. So not only that, we can see that, like, I wonder if I were to find the halfway point here of this width, from here. Oh, nope, it's about here. 1, 2, so here, right? Where that long line is. That's about the width of the second orange. Half of the first orange. Don't let this line confuse you. This is just the front of the orange. But the width of the second half of the orange is just a little bit, actually, kind of, a little bit less than half of the width. So I can come here, find my halfway point. Oh, I'm off today, so off.
I'm gonna find some of my old pictures from my garden of like.
Oh, yes. Diana was telling us wonderful stories about the garden. I'm having fantasies about them right now. This is so great. All right.
Particularly in the cold winter, right? It's
Right, exactly. Oranges. And then here, the distance from here to here is like about 2/3 of the distance from the second one. I can come to here, mark this. You'll notice that I'm constantly marking edges, right? And notice that this width is getting smaller each time, right? Because we're moving away. Even though these oranges are probably roughly the same size, they're getting smaller. And I know that my oranges kind of end here. Right, I can draw a line like that. So I can kind of draw my line here to mark the beginning and the end of my orange row. I can send a picture of this. Are you doing more color studies, Sandra?
Well, I began mapping the yellows, but I thought maybe I should do the oranges because then I would get orange, green, and I can do a blue background.
I mean,
Yes.
yellows are, do you actually have the oranges in a tube? You should have less of those in your yellows.
Well, I have got this, which I mapped this morning.
Let's see. Ooh, nice. Yes, you've got yellows and oranges. God, that's gorgeous.
I was gonna do, I thought maybe my last palette should be yellow, oranges, and purples.
Excellent. Excellent. I like it.
But I also have this goat,
Okay.
but
So
he's
you
not
try that,
the
guys?
colors I've mapped. So I thought maybe if I did the oranges, I could do some colors.
I think that's a great idea. Excellent. Love it. Diana, oh my God, look at that.
That was the
Oh,
only
look
one
at
I
those
found.
lemons. They're just so wonderful. I think one of my favorite things to paint is lemons. We'll eventually get to that. Here's that.
Okay, I have.
She's got all kinds of little threesomes in there too.
Right? Nice. Yes. And we know that odd numbers are better than even for composition. Or maybe we don't know that, but that is true. Odd numbers.
Leah?
Yes.
The initial rectangle, you just make it just any size.
Which rectangle?
The rectangle for the oranges.
For
this
the
one here.
oranges, if you want to specifically know, it's 1/3 of the way across the page. So
Oh,
start
got it.
on the
Thank you.
edge, right? Here. Start on the edge here, and then you can like draw a line straight across. So draw a line up, then draw a line down, then find a 1, 2,
Got it.
3. Yeah. Oh God, it's just beautiful. Look at those colors, Diana. Wow. Wow, wow. I'll wait until you guys finish up this.
Oh, thank you.
I guess it's easier to go out in the garden than to try to find them. You know.
Look at those yellows. Oh yeah, we're totally gonna. Do you mind if I use any of these or a piece of these?
Oh, gorgeous. What kind
Yeah.
of lemons are they?
Those are regular Eureka lemons, but I have Meyer lemons.
Oh, I love my lemons.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. I have different, and I have.
Do you make like lemon curd and lemon marmalade and stuff?
No, I'm not such a sweet junkie, so I don't, but I I do like the Moroccan lemons that you put in salt.
Mm,
So I don't know what you call that. I guess so pickled
Like
lemon.
pickled lemons.
pickled
Yeah.
lemons.
Yeah.
I think
So
we-
that's, do you make, so you don't make like lemon pie or
No, I'm gluten intolerant, so I can't eat any of
any
them.
of that stuff anyway? Okay. I was wondering, so what do you do with them all?
A lot.
You have a little market thing that you sell them at?
No, I give away a lot. And
Okay.
I eat a lot.
Pat,
I eat a lot too, but
So
I give
Pat,
away.
the
Uh-huh.
problem, there's a problem here.
Okay,
The problem is that this line is not at the, okay. You don't, your orange is gonna come all the way, I think you're getting confused. There is a line here, which is like the front, but it is not the edge of the, here, I'll draw it and I'll show you.
so it
The
needs to come to
halfway
that
point-
first halfway mark?
This is where the orange comes out at halfway point.
And is that the halfway?
You have
point
it
between the
coming
front and the
out
back?
here, you have it coming out here. Whoops. So you have it coming before that.
Okay,
So you need to, you have this coming like you've done, I don't want to draw on this without confusing people.
I
You've done
came in
this.
too
You've done
close.
this.
Okay, okay,
You've
go
done
all the way to
this.
that
So
line.
you need to, yeah, pay attention to that. And then let me just double check 1, 2, right. 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 In fact, don't jump ahead on this unless you kind of know it. Pay attention to these. So here, there's 2 negative spaces that are going to be helpful to you in this first box. One is this one. So don't try to do it all at once, I guess would be my advice, right? That's kind of happening like this. This goes straight up. And then this goes like this, and then it kind of goes straight across to here. It kind of straightens out.
So don't necessarily try to make a circle. Okay, I was
Well,
trying to make a circle.
look at this. Well, if you're going to make a circle, you need to make a circle that looks like the orange.
Right, yeah.
And you did not make your circle look like the orange.
I know, I
Then,
did it wrong.
right? Then, like, that's why I'm saying, pay attention to the negative spaces. I mean, eventually you'll be able to make a circle that looks like an orange, but you're not there yet, right?
And I keep coming up
Because-
too high.
Yeah.
And it-
So pay attention to the negative spaces. Do this by, watch me, do this by building the negative spaces, these triangles. Right, then this triangle. Let's see, it's like here. I'm looking at the negative space. If you want to draw a line here, right? So you've got it. Use this triangle to construct your circle from negative spaces. Don't just draw the circle that's in your head, because that's not the circle that's there.
Figure
Right.
that one out.
Right? The
I would
circle
say that
that's in
second
your
orange is
head
actually
is this
inside the
perfect.
periphery.
What's that?
The second orange is actually inside
A little
that
bit.
first line, yeah, okay.
Yep.
All right.
So you see that? Yes. So get your focus back on those, and then we'll do the, see, and we can do this all the way back.
Is it like this, Leah? I sent you one.
Just a second, and I'll tell you. Hold on. I'm going to continue to draw these shapes. What do you think? Before I look, Sandra, what do you think?
I think it looks okay.
Okay.
Well, maybe not.
Okay, those are good. Yeah, that looks great.
Okay.
And then this one, the width of this one is about half the width of the first one,
Ah, okay, that's good.
from here to here. And then the width of this one is about, you can see it, it's about 2/3 across the second one. So it comes to about here. There's definitely, it does not go all the way to the end. There's definitely before the end, there's a cutoff
Okay,
like
good.
this. So this is about, this comes to about here. So the width of this is like to there. So once you get this width, right, you can get this width. And remember not to go all the way to the edge. It's all drawing. Everybody wants to paint. Who is it? Mariana was saying something about faces the other. She's like, I just want to do simple faces with simple gestures. I'm
There's
like,
no simple faces.
there's no simple face. Exactly what I said. I was like, you want to do that? You've got to learn how to do this first. She started
So
laughing.
the only thing that looks strange here, like the second one, the third one, the bottom is flat.
They're all flat. They're always flat.
Oh,
Flat and then up. They're
Okay.
flat here on the bottom. It's flat a little bit on the top too.
okay.
That's always happening. So yeah, you go across. So if we go to the second one, like this, let's see. So here is this, it's tricky because there's these leaves in the way.
Yes,
So
I haven't
how
tackled
do
the
I'll
leaves yet.
come down here where I can see the whole orange. So the orange comes down like this and across, exactly, straight across like this. That's also partly because there's a shadow there. So the orange itself kind of turns up here, but there's the shadow, which is flat. And then there's another little triangle here, right? And a little triangle here, and then a little triangle here, which shapes that last orange. We can, wait, actually, it's not really a triangle because it's kind of flat. So it's kind of this angle line like that. There we go, that's better. Right, then I can start to add like that. Then I can start to add, I can add a little bit of roundness. I can start to get my leaf in. I'll get this leaf in first because I can see it easier. This looks like one of those little claymation, puppet studies. Looks like a little, the shadow is here. So if you look at this shape, right, this shape here, that's what's happening first. So notice how I'm constructing this. I'm not constructing this kind of draw one orange, draw the next orange. I'm trying to draw the pieces in place so that it's easier to get the next piece in place. Of course, the stems are above, right? They're above.
We don't need to do the stems exactly, or do we?
I'd like you to get as close as you can.
Okay.
They're not that hard.
And you,
Just kind of take it shape by shape. I think what's intimidating you is that, this leaf that I'm doing now, which is on the top, is covering part of the bottom leaf.
difficult, sorry, I'm gonna.
Yeah. So,
Look
but
at
if you do that first, then it becomes easier. Remember the sort of rule of doing things in front first.
Sunny, you have to leave me alone. Yeah, you have to leave me alone. Go lay down. Go lay down.
Never, mommy. Never will I leave you alone. Ever, ever. I will never leave you, mommy.
No, that's okay, but she can leave me alone.
No, she can't.
It
She's a
just keeps looking like
pandemic
a lemon
dog,
instead of an orange.
right?
I don't know why. I can't get it round without shortening it.
Maybe something has to be shortened next to it. Send it over.
I did.
Oh, you just did. Okay.
Oh, good. I'll send you mine as well. I'm just beginning to work on the leaves, but
Pat, I can't see it in relation to everything else.
because it's wider than.
It's the only thing
it's-
in there.
It's,
I'll
but I
give
can't
it-
see the whole thing. So let me see the
Okay,
whole
I'll
space
take it
and then
again.
I'll tell you what's going on. I think you're too wide. That looks good, Sandra, so far. Oh,
Okay,
you've already
I'm
sent
sending
that to
you the
me.
next one.
All right, let's see. Oh, yeah, one. Here,
Can I
hold
go
on.
outside the
Damn it,
First
I
things that we
can't, I'm
drew?
not, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble looking at this without it turning. 1, 2.
Oh,
So Pat, you did 2 things that are off about
Okay.
this. One is that this doesn't go straight down. There's a, from here to here, there's a rectangle. You're
Oh.
going down. So that's
Yeah.
part of your problem. Part of your
Oh.
problem is you don't have the shape of the orange right. That's the first thing. So redraw this in. And the reason I have this is that this is the front of the orange. I can tell this is the side, and I can tell that because it's lighter than what's happening over here. Sandra looks good.
okay,
1,
good. Proceed with
2,
this.
yep.
So I shouldn't follow that line. The first line that you drew was like going in to the horizon. Don't follow that line.
I don't understand what you're saying.
When you first started the lesson, you drew the,
I
The
drew a
line on the-
box. I drew a box. I'll remind you here.
oh, so you didn't start, okay. All
No,
right, so-
take a
okay.
look. Or yep, nope, this is what I drew. There you go. That's what I drew.
My eyes have deceived me.
Right.
Oh. I've been at last week's class, maybe that would have been clear to me.
It's been a couple weeks. You're needing to reorient.
Yeah.
That's okay. Refocus. Andy, I don't know how it's going for you over there. Just send it.
Painful, but I'll send something over to you shortly.
Okay. Yeah, take your time. I got it. It's hard. When you come in and out of class, it's hard, right? And then Sandra, you can go ahead and add your shadows in, right? They're
Oh,
going.
right, I'm still doing the leaves.
Okay, got it. But it looks pretty good on you with the proportions. There's your
Well, the box really
shadows,
helped.
right? The little box. Yes, the little
Yeah,
box that we
Without
put
the
the
box,
thing
it
in.
would be over.
It's funny. Jessica and I were trying to talk about like what direction was the photographer looking at when he took this, and we figured
But
out
he
it
was-
was kind of from the side.
I think he was focusing on something to the right, and this would just got caught on the left. Do you know what I mean?
Focusing to something on the right.
So if he,
Yeah, he was on the side. Yes.
Yeah.
We're thinking, yeah, absolutely. That's what we thought too. Which is kind of an interesting. And don't worry about any of this gunk going on behind. I'm just doing a straight line for the wall and the ground.
at what stage can we delete the box?
Once you've got you feel like you've got everything in the right places.
Because the
you can-
shadows,
Yeah, go ahead and delete you can delete the box now, because I just looked at your drawing. It looks pretty good. I don't want to delete mine yet until everybody gets through it, but once I've said, yeah, you got it. Yeah, and it's funny, it's hard to see my box even with the shadows. I had what I think is probably one of my best lessons. I taught one of my best lessons ever on perspective yesterday. So if you guys are wanting some sort of beginning remedial practice on perspective, you should look at yesterday's lesson. It's not up yet, but it will be up shortly.
yes, all these are beautiful bright oranges with blue background
Right.
made me feel like wanting to do this.
They're
So-
happy, right? It's exactly what we need to see this time of year, isn't it? We need to see, this is like the
Yes.
sunshine that we need
Like
to see.
Diana's lemons.
Yeah, we need Diana's lemons, and we'll definitely paint some of Diana's lemons because I love to paint
Hey.
lemons. I just want to, it's a
I
harder
remember you
mix
made us do a lemon. before.
in watercolor. Yeah, I'll do
But
it. I want to wait.
I think
'cause I
the
feel
one
like
we
it's
did
a-
was
Huh?
rotten. I think the one we did, it was not a mature lemon. It was very mature.
It's it's a harder mix to get the shadows of the lemon. So it's easier to do the oranges, quite frankly. Because yellow is you have to be so careful with yellow not to get too much.
I'm going to do this in watercolor. And one of the things I remember in one of the videos I looked is how much more vibrant colors look when you mix them on the page as opposed to on the palette. And
yeah, because you don't really know. And so, Sandra, if you're going to do this in watercolor today, I would do the whole thing washed in a light yellow as your base. And then we're going to do something different because we're working with oil. But for you, I would recommend doing this all as a light yellow wash and then start layering your values on.
But I'm going to try wet on wet, so I don't want to do.
Oh, okay, cool. Even better. Wow, you're like challenging yourself today.
Yes. Well, it doesn't matter if it doesn't pan out, but I'm hoping it will.
Hey, no pain, no gain.
Because I want to try this wet on wet mixing.
So just be careful. Having done this once already in watercolor this week, I will tell you, just be careful not to use, you're going to mix blue in with your orange, and you want to be careful not to do too much blue. What I found, Sandra, is that I mixed a gray with blue and orange, and then I added a little cadmium red to it just to sort of spice it up a little bit, make it look a little warmer and prettier. It still reads like a shadow, but it's a little bit redder. And I ended up laying those reds on kind of after I put my first layers. So anyway, you'll see.
I'm going to send you with the shadows. Oops.
Oh, y'all be happy to know I finally finished that big commission of the bridge. Looks
Oh,
really
good. Were they
Oh,
happy?
wow.
Super. But now we have to figure out how to hang it, because I realized that I don't know how to hang a 30-pound canvas off of wall, like, right? Like you can't just.
And you
pick
have to
up-
hang it?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
You might need a professional to do that.
yes,
To hang
exactly.
it? I mean, I think I just
just-
need to know. I've hung so much art in my life. I think I know how to hang it. I'm just like, it's heavy. And I don't know how much to, like, how heavy, like, should I wire it? Should I anchor anyway, I'm gonna ask somebody.
Yes,
Yeah,
be careful about the walls. You have to
Yeah,
check what
because we don't
walls
want
they
to
are.
pull off any of the wall, right?
What kind of wall is it?
You need
I
to find out
mean-
what kind of wall it is.
You
Whether
mean,
it's
is it a
studs or
sheetrock
what.
wall or studs? Yeah, I think we want to find a stud and put a hook in the stud.
If
And
you
probably
can.
2 hooks across 2 studs. So,
You
No,
know,
If it's heavy,
also,
you can put one of the hangers in the back of the picture. You put
Mhm.
a hanger on each side instead of having a wire.
but also,
oh, you mean like hang it off nails?
No,
Well-
no. You put like
A D-ring?
like a D-ring in the back of the painting on each
Mhm.
side, and you
Mhm.
hang a hook on each.
Oh, yeah, that, if
But-
it's
but
lined up
even-
with studs.
but even so, a framer once told me that what they do is when it's a big painting like this, they have several hooks, so you can still have a wire, but several
Maybe
hooks
all
in
of
the wall.
them. Yeah, like probably all of them.
So that if one gives, there'll be
Right.
the other to hold it.
Right. I think that's what I'm I just don't want to wreck their wall. Yeah, I think it's a plain, ordinary sheetrock wall with
That's why you should
wood
almost let
frame.
the
But we
handyman do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, my boyfriend is a stagehand, so he's got a stud finder. We have a stud finder. We can find like where the walls are. I'm more
Right.
like, the thing I'm not clear on is just like, I just need to make sure I have the right. Like, we just weighed the thing and I'm like, oh my God, it's 30 pounds. It's a
What
fat
about a
thing.
wooden frame on the wall to attach it to?
That's possible. Sounds like elaborate.
Oh, that
Yeah,
sounds
it's
even
not.
makes it even heavier for the wall.
It's
Yeah.
probably just a couple pieces of wood though, in reality.
But why
Yeah,
would
but
you
I
need
see
that?
what
if
you're
you can
saying,
find
but it
that's-
will be heavier. It will add more weight to the wall. And we probably don't want to do that.
No, that's true too.
I think what we need to do is just
Find
make
two
sure I
studs at
get
least.
the hangers that are like, can hold a certain amount of weight. And
Yeah,
then-
you can, but if it's sheetrock and you don't, the studs doesn't fit, even though they're probably at every 16 inch or so, right?
Yeah,
E-
Yeah.
Even so, if you don't find it where you need it, there are really good anchors for sheetrock walls That-
oh,
that spreads out behind the wall. So you
Right,
get
but it
Nice.
makes a big wall.
pressure spread out. I have a lot of heavy things hanging on my wall, so.
perfect. All right, all right. Can you take a picture of one of those anchors, Diana?
Your boyfriend will know what they look like.
Yeah. Andy, perfect. Great work. Great. You got it. You got it. Pat, how you doing?
I'll show you. I'll just show you.
Is it easier the second time? Now that you've got.
Totally. It's
We're
like, oh my
just
God.
flying blind.
Just say it's easier.
Let's see, and I'm erasing my little extra lines here because they do kind of muck up pencil does kind of muck up the paint, particularly if you're working in watercolor.
I just sent it.
Okay. Everybody's is coming upside down. Okay, much better. There you go.
Okay.
Yep, yep, yep. You got it. Everybody's is coming upside down. All right.
Yeah, I keep forgetting you can actually fix that before you send it. I should have fixed it.
You can.
Okay, so I'm kind of erasing off my guidelines, so all I can really see, and I'm gonna kind of round this orange, this one a little bit, even though it looks kind of squarish, I can kind of round the edges a little bit. Okay, we'll make sure. All right. And then we're going to start with an underpainting, of course, a values underpainting. So the last thing you'll want to do is add in, just like the sphere, right? We're going to add in our light, medium, and our dark hearts. Here we are. Kind of there's the dark.
So you start with the oranges, right, Leo?
Yeah, there's nothing else to paint, really. No, you don't start with the leaves, if that's what you mean.
Or a background?
No, the background is nothing. It's just, we're not ready for the background, right? Because
That's where my blue comes in.
yeah, we're not ready for the background. We're ready for the background once we've gotten some subject in and we need to figure out how the background's going to play into it.
Okay.
That's the general. So now I'm sketching, right?
Should we even put a table or any kind of line at all?
I just did that right here. Right here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, do that for sure, because you're gonna want the shadows in the wall. So just
Sometimes
do
it's
it.
hard for me to concentrate on two things at the same time.
I understand. I understand. So I'm sketching in my kind of blick here, right? That's the white spot. Here you can see it kind of under this shadow. So make sure you have distinguished your shadow and the leaf. And then it gets darker here.
Leah,
Yeah.
so I did a black and white printout
Yeah, I have one
And-
too, right here.
Yeah, and when I look at the shadows on this printout, it doesn't seem as up and down as you have it. It looks to me like it extends on the bottom a little bit more.
Well, yeah,
The ellipses extends a little bit more. So like,
Sure.
so like where you have it up and down on your first orange here, the big orange,
uh-huh.
the bottom here to me looks like it's extending a little bit more to the right.
To the left. Like this. That's okay. Yeah, like that. I see it. Like this.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's it, that's it.
But I just want to make sure that I'm not delirious.
You're not delirious.
Okay.
Not delirious. It's also true that like we're working kind of, yes, that is absolutely. Dark is here, medium is here, light is on this side.
And is that because the light is kind of coming from like 2 o'clock or so?
Yeah. Top right. Here, turning to get darker. Yes, exactly. Good observation, Andy. That's true. I wasn't being super careful with that as I was looking. You'll see here, we probably have 1, 2, 3 values, not including the one that's underneath here, the orange. And then here, it's like here, click, it's 1, 2, and 3. So the ones in the back have like 1, 2, 3. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. And also, although we can't really see it, I want you to add it in. There's going to be a little reflected edge on the end, very dark edge. That's going to be lighter than everything else. So go ahead and mark that. Here, I'll send that in. If you want to, you can also kind of mark in the lights on the leaf here.
I just sent you the name of those anchors.
Thank you. I
So you can
appreciate
look
it.
them up on Amazon. They are
Appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. Ah, self-drilling drywall anchors. Okay, great. Yeah, Sandra, that's looking good. Add in your, looking very good. Super cheery and wonderful for this time of year. Here, I'm gonna take a picture. There's my sketch, slight correction here. Sandy was pointing out that the dark is kind of coming down here. The middle, the medium is here and the light is there.
Myself.
And then we are gonna start, well, when you're ready. You guys show me when you're ready. And then we'll start talking about the underpainting.
I'll probably be behind as usual. So if you need to go ahead, go ahead.
Tell me when, Andy, if you're ready, the first person who's got their drawing done, let me know and we will start talking about the underpainting. So when you're ready, let me know. What's happening now? You guys let me know when you're ready and we will go on to underpainting. Just let me know.
All
I'm
right,
totally
just-
happy.
I'm gonna send what I have over.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't get the shadow. That's the only thing I didn't get.
Did I- Oh, there it is. Just came through. Okay, so get your leaves in. Looks good, Pat.
Okay, so I actually sketched the leaf itself. Okay, not just as a dark spot.
Of course. Do the shape that you see, the dark and medium shapes that you see that are leaf shapes. There's also a shadow shape here, right? That's a
Oh, I thought I
shadow.
had it in there. Sorry.
If you don't have the leaf in, you won't have the shadow in because there's a leaf next to the shadow. It's on the side.
It was second shadow. That second shadow. Okay, I see.
Yeah. There you go.
This leaf doesn't have a shadow. And there's a shadow.
No.
Oh, and then
Oh, Sandra, did you see these? Did you see these guys? Wait.
Oh, wow, but too many of them.
Yeah, but just all you should just focus
I have
on the
to-
two.
I-
Look at their little faces.
how cute is that?
Oh my God. I love that site. I love that reference site. They have so much stuff. All right, Andy. Andy, there are two. Right? There are two. There's a 4, there's a 3, 2, and then 1. So don't forget, it's not just dark and light. There's actually a dark, a medium, and a light. It'll be easier to see when I put the color version up. Oh, God, that site. Did you see
I'm
the
sorry.
one of the fox smiling outside somebody's window? It was
Uh,
sitting and sunning itself.
I think so, but it was very low resolution.
Oh, so now, then all of a sudden people got all these pictures of foxes smiling because they were enjoying themselves. Really, they're like cats or dogs, like so cute. I know you have a lot of them in New Jersey, the foxes. The little red foxes, they're totally cute.
They run by our street all the time.
Right? We don't have those. We have wolves and tons
wow.
of possums and coyotes, but we do not have the little foxes.
We have those two. I would like to see more possums in my place, though. I don't see as many possums as I used to see.
Why do you suppose that is?
Because they haven't, they are like so vulnerable for everything.
They really are. They're
they
such
can't
wonderful
defend.
animals, the possums.
Yeah,
They're so
they
wonderful.
They can't defend themselves.
No, they're so sweet and lovely and yeah.
And they clean up your garden.
And they eat all the ticks and yeah, I know they're amazing. And mosquitoes, they're amazing animals. I really love them.
I think they can eat like 50,000 ticks in a year.
Amazing. Yeah, they probably
Did
get
they
eaten a lot
many?
by the other.
Yeah.
All right. So now that we are here, let's see, I'm gonna put this up just a little bit so we can see it. I'm gonna put up the orange version, the darker the color version so you can see it. So you can see it a little bit better. I'm gonna put up the palette paper. Actually, I'm gonna put the palette paper up here like this. Right? So Andy, you're right. This is dark, but there really is a medium before there's a light and the highlight. Right? Technically, you can really see it here too. Dark, medium, light, highlight. Dark, medium, light, highlight. It's a little bit less distinct as you move back. I am gonna try. Am I gonna try? Yes. I have a bunch of these craft brushes, so I'm gonna try painting my underpainting, which is, remember, gonna be only one color with a bit of Gamsol and a craft brush. So I'm gonna actually try the base sketch, the base value sketch with Gamsol. Let's see. There you go, Pat.
Ready to go.
This leaf comes out and extends almost as far as this one.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
You're always right, Lee.
I'm always right. On that stuff.
That's your
I'm wrong
superpower.
about a lot of things, but I'm like really right about that stuff.
That makes that a hell of a big leaf.
Yeah. Just depends on how you look at it. It's not really
Yeah.
that big.
And
All right,
if I make
so I'm
my
gonna pour
stem big-
myself a little bit of Gamsol here. If you remember, Gamsol is gonna be kind of my first layer, and then I'm just gonna use it to clean my brush. I'm gonna use one brush to paint this whole painting, I'm gonna use the Gamsol for in between. And I wanted to know what you guys thought we should do, what the underpainting should be. Do you have thoughts?
The thing I can think of is ultramarine.
I would make it green.
It's a great,
Green.
those are both great suggestions, and I'm gonna allow them. Because we're working in, so if you want to do that, you can totally do that. Because we're working in oil though, and everything's gonna be like slightly wetter, my suggestion is that we do transparent red oxide or
Ooh,
burnt
I
sienna.
love transparent red.
Right? Like a burnt sienna or a transparent red oxide, because then it's like darker and richer, but it's warm. If we were working, so when we did this lesson in acrylic, people picked, somebody used hot pink, someone else used blue, green as Diana, did you use green for your base?
I did.
Yeah, Diana used green for her base. In acrylic, it totally, oh, your cats are so busted.
Oh, I'm getting
So-
so sick of them. Sorry.
What did they do?
I don't know.
Well, Rabbit is completely demented. Part of the reason is he didn't want to eat his meat. He's gone out. He's hungry and cold. He wants the chicken out of the oven. And
Puts
so
the chicken
everybody's
out of
like,
the oven.
it's just like,
He's just
the
losing
chicken
his
has just
mind.
come out of the oven, but I'd be burning my fingers and I'm painting.
Right.
So that's why he's very annoyed and he's fighting with all the other cats. And Dragon wants to go outside, so he's annoyed as well. It's
So-
freezing cold.
So Andy and Pat, you can totally use whatever color you want as your base. But my recommendation for oil particularly is, because it's always a little bit wet, I'm going to use transparent red oxide or burnt sienna in this
Why?
light wash.
Because it's always a little wet. Why did you say that?
Because it's oil. Takes longer to dry.
Oh, okay. So the
That's
so the
oil.
fact that it's red oxide won't harm.
It
The
will,
orange
it
that we're
won't like
using.
sort of be so muddy on your top
Okay,
layers.
okay.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
what
yeah,
I
yeah.
was trying to.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, you're working in oil. I'm thinking acrylic.
You're thinking acrylic. It's definitely an acrylic. Although I did this, I think in acrylic, I also was in the mood for this color. But everybody else did different things and it looked great. So you can see here, I'm going into my darkest layers. I'm kind of going across. Notice I'm not finishing the oranges. I'm kind of like working the darker layers up. Can't really see that very well. Let's see. Let's put you up here so I can see the edge. I only figured out by the end of the week how to do this so that people could see the whole thing. Right? So I've got my shadow. I'm getting a little bit of drip because I'm, you know, things are going down. I'm not worried about that. However, if you were worried about that, you could totally take your blankie, remember your paper towel, and wipe it off. But I'm not too worried.
How much you're using a bit of Gamsol there? Like how
Yeah.
much?
I mean, enough to make it runny. So I have almost no paint on my brush, no globs of paint on my brush. That's how much. Does that answer that question?
That
And
works.
And this
then-
mix is Gamsol, right?
This is Gamsol. I'm
Yeah,
using
okay.
Gamsol, right? So yeah, so I'm using a fair amount of Gamsol, but I still see how I'm kind of taking and I'm getting my brush wet with the Gamsol. I'm brushing it off so it's not too drippy. And then I'm just pulling little bits of paint so that it's almost like I'm getting a thin watery layer, except it's liquid, you know, except it's like alcohol, right? Spirit. And then I'll go into my leaves as well, because my leaves are generally darker and the shadow here. Notice I'm leaving the lighter parts until I get the darker ones in. So these are the darks. It's a dark leaf here. That's pretty much it for the darks. And then I'm going to use more Gamsol so that it's lighter. This next layer is lighter.
Damn it.
Remember, it's okay if it gets darker, but I do in general want my darks and lights to read. And then I can take this little bit that's dripped down and kind of spread it across. I do want paint everywhere, right? A little layer, a little sort of layer of paint everywhere. So I'm putting it all up here. I want it lighter. My darks are still darker. If I don't feel like my darks are dark enough, I can go back in with a little bit more paint. Gamsol. With the Gamsol, the point of the Gamsol is that it will thin. Gamsol is paint thinner, right? So it's going to thin and make this area dry a little bit quicker than it would on its own. Our main goal is to get enough paint on so that when we get our top layers, you know, they have more richness to them. There we go. That's basically, and then I'm gonna just put this aside and use this to kind of clean my brush up. I decided to keep using this brush. I might decide to use a different brush, but I can use it to clean my brushes. I don't want to use it to actually apply paint. Because I'll be worried. I'd be worried about the paint being stripped off on top layers. Let's see. Yep, Andy looks great. You're ready to go. You can erase, Andy, if you want to, the box now that you've got everything in place.
I'm finding on this smooth board here, whenever I try to erase, it just doesn't erase well. So
It doesn't. You know what you need? You need an electric eraser.
an electric eraser.
You will be obsessed. Now, this
Does it
electric
have a
eraser,
remote control?
it's got a button that you push. Right now, I dropped it. Don't tell Jessica. I'm gonna get another replacement, so she'll never know. Jessica sent me this. Honestly, you'll love this electric eraser.
Have you tried changing the batteries?
I did. I
Oh.
broke it. I just broke it because I dropped it. Because I'm sitting at a high table and if I miss, anyway, if there's too much going on, things get knocked off. But anyway, electric eraser, Derwent, electric eraser. Get it. You'll love it. Change your life.
I'm going to show you my first orange because just see whether I'm getting in the right direction.
Okay.
Oof. Sorry, I need to flip it.
If you would, please. That'd be great.
It doesn't look like an orange. I noticed problem yesterday. Some oranges didn't look like oranges.
Well, you have to
Orange,
adjust your
yeah.
orange with more yellow or more red. That's why a pre-mixed oranges don't really work. You can't just use an orange on its own. You generally have to adjust it a little bit yellow or a little bit red. Oh, that looks nice. That looks nice. You're going to want to go with a little blue here in your top
Okay.
layers to create your shadow. But I actually think that's fine. I like your little marking here. I like the little marks that you've got in here to create. Very nice. I'm a little worried you've gone too dark.
Oh,
Here.
I can fix it.
So can you lift that a little bit? What I would
Yep.
do is lift a little bit here in the medium section. But I like the color. I think it's kind of nice.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually lifting it will be really cool because it'll kind of give that little patterned, you know, if you use a paper towel, it gives a little like kind of a little bit of a pattern.
Nice.
And that,
The
all
wrong
mine are
place.
coming out the same dark.
Did I not send mine in? Here, hold on.
Oh, you orange look beautiful.
Well, you just use, Pat, you need to use less paint and more,
And more Gamsol.
yeah.
But I like on your Leah that the orange is running because that will make the perfect glimmer.
Reflection, right? That
Yeah,
little
because they
orange.
are reflecting in the surface.
Yes, they are. You're absolutely right. They totally will. Yep, absolutely. There's always a use for drips. And the beauty of the drips is you don't have to do the, you know, you can't, the problem is you can't control it, but the beauty is it does all the work for you. Right?
Mhm.
I love it. I agree. I'll see if I have some, I'm able to get those in. I'm going to clean up my palette paper because there's actually so much dripping. It's going to be hard to show. Yes, I'm going to set up the rest of the colors that we need. I'm going to put a touch of ultramarine blue. Cadmium red.
What kind of blue did you think I should put there, Leah?
Ultramarine.
Okay.
And I think you should mix it with a little bit of your orange, so it's not straight blue. I think you should mix it and then apply it. So test it first, not too much, right? Because you don't want it to be overly murky. We're gonna have, besides the transparent red oxide, we're gonna have 4 colors on our palette today. Including titanium white. Hard to see that. Oh, here, this is what I need to do. Ooh, we need to be here. There we go. And I've got a palette knife today. And you guys are going to spend some time mixing before you actually apply. You know, Sandra's doing something a little different than you. She's working kind of wet on wet, so that's a quicker medium. But I have here cadmium red, cadmium yellow medium, cadmium red, ultramarine blue, and some titanium white. So I'm going to start by mixing a little bit of red, not too much, more yellow than red. I'm bringing in the red in drips and drabs to create this sort of beautiful, bright, vibrant yellow, orange. And I really love, I mean, cadmium yellow and cadmium orange just make a stunning orange because they both already have a little orange in them. So it looks like fire. Exactly what we need at a time right now. The sun just came out here, so it's kind of pretty at the moment. And then I'm going to take a piece of this, pull it down, and add just a tiny bit of blue. Not too much. And if your mix looks too green, like mine does, I'm going to add a little bit more red to it. If it looks too brown, you're going to try a little bit more of your orange mix. So what I'm mixing is a shadowy orange color using the complements. Everybody remember that whole bit about complements? I don't need to repeat that to this group, right? You all know that.
We all know.
Yeah, you all know that.
We are
Yeah,
pros.
you are pros, right? So you can see I'm mixing an orange. It's a little bit, just tiny little bits of blue. I want enough blue in there to make it sort of a shadowy color. And then I'm going to compare that. I'll compare that to my, orange without the. So here's my orange. I think I need a little bit more yellow. I've been working in so much acrylic lately. I'm running low on my oil paints. I'm out of cad yellow, except for this one little tiny. You'll see less is more when it comes to the red. See this? So here's my orange without the blue, and here's my orange with the blue. You want a little pile of both. Take a picture so you can see it, really see it. And it's okay to take some time, right? Because we need this to dry anyway. And I need to go make myself one more cup of coffee. So I'll be right back while you start your mixing.
Diana,
Yeah.
you know this orange picture?
What orange picture?
The one we're working from?
Yeah.
There's a shadow of a leaf on top of the orange.
Yeah.
What would you do there?
I use the ultramarine blue and
Oh, really? So you wouldn't go like with a darker orange, you would use a blue?
yeah, I would use a blue, maybe mixed with a little burnt sienna.
Okay, thank you.
That's what I did anyway.
Cool.
But mix it on the paper first, so you see. that
It comes out, what I'm doing comes out somewhat green.
Yeah, but if it comes out dark green, it works, right?
God, these guys are so naughty today. No.
So has Sunny been, but I took her for a long walk this morning.
See,
So that
they want to go out, but then they come back ravenous and they spend all day eating. And then they get an upset stomach for having eaten too much.
But right now she's sleeping,
Oh,
but that will change when Frank comes in.
and she can eat him.
Yeah. They are not getting along right now. Oh, she has fell down from the bed. You're dreaming, Sunny. I'm sorry. Were you dreaming? Yeah.
Maybe she was dreamt of Frank.
How's it
Yeah.
going?
Sunny has fell down from the bed. She was dreaming, I guess.
Oh, hey, you guys, these look great. Both of these look great. And what I think is really interesting is how different Andy's looks coverage wise from Pat's. They're both work on this level. Nice work, you guys. So
Thank you.
now just start with your mixing of your red and your yellow. I use cadmium yellow medium and cadmium red, and then a little bit of ultramarine blue to mix with your orange.
CAD medium.
If you don't have it, don't worry about it. Use CAD light. CAD yellow medium is almost orange. Like if you look at it, you'll be like, this is more orange than it's yellow.
That's true. I don't think I even have that.
Don't worry about it. Do you have CAD something?
Yeah, CAD light.
Okay, use CAD light.
I need to start a list of paints I need.
Hmm.
I should find somebody and trade my acrylics with them.
Keep them because you may want to jump back to them at some
That's
point,
true.
but I think for you and Andy particularly, I think that you guys are going to find it's going to be helpful to stay in oil, primarily because your paints don't dry so quickly. So as you're finding the mixes, you know, like I'm just sitting here, I'm not worried. If I don't do anything to this, it'll be good for like 2 or 3 days. As opposed to drying every, 10 minutes and having to remix, which I think is really frustrating. You'll notice that the moment we switched Joe over from acrylics to oil, that his mixing got a lot better, his painting, right? Because he was able to fiddle around until he got the
longer.
mixes right. Acrylic is for people who really have, acrylic is, anybody could use acrylic, and it's a good, in some ways, it's a good like low entry for people to jump into oil to painting because it requires less materials, it requires less cleanup, it's less toxic stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's easier to like get the materials. And oh yeah, Sandra, there you go. Nice.
It needs, now it's gotten very light, so I'm gonna.
Now it's gotten light. So now you can mix that orange. So I would mix that orange and blue on the.
I did put some blue already, but.
I see it a little bit, but yeah, now you just want to kind of, it looks nice. I feel like the one on the end is looking particularly nice.
The little
Um,
one, or big one,
Yeah, the one on the right, the one on the right.
the little one.
Actually, I
It's
like
because
that
it's not fully dry. I've just finished it. If you have as a
are
you know
drying
how
a
it
little bit.
dries paler, it's very annoying.
So you will want to quickly jump into, I know you did your greens and your blues yesterday, so you're going to want to do your greens and your blues. Notice this is a very olivey green. Like it's quite dark green here, like super dark, almost black. But this is kind of olivey. So I would recommend like whatever green you make, you're going to add a little red to it. I would suggest cadmium red, just a touch, and yellow to make that kind of olivey green here.
Okay.
And then this one, you could do alizarin crimson and viridian. Do you have viridian? Did we discuss this? You have viridian, right?
Yes, I do. But
I would use viridian as the base mix, add a little cad yellow and cad red in here.
I
to make
don't
this
think I'm gonna,
olivey.
the reason I've got so many colors, so I don't have to mix so much.
You're still gonna have
I
to
make
mix.
terrible messes.
That means you're getting somewhere.
It's like a recipe for disaster.
I know mixing is hard, but it's like totally worth it. I mean, once
Okay.
you're just rarely, you're gonna find, Sandra, as you get more advanced, as your painting gets more advanced, you're just not gonna be able to find the colors that you want in it too. You're gonna have to mix.
I
So
mean, I mix, but
eventually-
I don't. I mix colors that are closer together, so then the result is more predictable.
Hmm. Well, one could say that once you get used to mixing complements, it gets predictable, but you got to practice.
You're right. Sometimes it has worked, and sometimes it's been a mess.
Well, it's because sometimes there's too much of one color or another.
Exactly, but when I try to correct it, it doesn't seem to work. Like I end up with something
Do
different.
you
Like I
keep
can't stop correcting
dumping
with
the
one color.
same? Do you keep dumping the same more color into the same pile? That's probably part of it. So part of it is if you're mixing, you've got too much of one color in. You don't want to keep feeding that pile of color. You want to take a tiny bit of that pile, put it somewhere else, like this. Like if I got too much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, watch this. Here, hold on. I'm going to push this down a little bit so you can see down a little bit further. So if I got too much blue here, right? Oh, shoot, too much blue, right? Ah, it's too blue. If I put more of this in, it's just going to keep looking terrible. I can't, it's too much of everything. But if I take just a tiny bit of this and I pull it down here, and then I mix more red and more yellow, see, then I gain control of the mix again. So if you figure out, you get
that's
too
probably
much.
exactly what I do. Thank you.
Yeah, so you want to not feel like you're stuck with your, like if there's one color that's overwhelming, and in fact, it's interesting, as I did this, I realized I like this color better than my original, better than the original one I mixed. So, so that's part of it.
And after a while, Sandra, it becomes second nature. You don't even think.
You know what to do.
Yeah,
Right?
but you have to add that skill and you have to go through the pain of it, because there's no way, that's really what painters do.
Because I don't think about how I mix. I just
You
go.
just do it, right?
Yeah.
Because you've been doing it long enough. And some people are naturally good at it, honestly. Some people are naturally good at color and mixing. They just are. I know I always was. That's why it's harder for me to teach it, because I'm like, I've just always been, it's been so easy. I can't even, I'm like, oh my God.
Right.
I don't even know how to explain to you. Drawing, I really have down, because drawing wasn't easy for me. I had to like really break down the steps. But when it's really easy for you, like it's hard to know how to even explain it. So there's definitely a part of it that's a gift, but even if it's hard for you, you'll get better at it, right?
Yeah.
As you learn to mix. Even it just takes a little bit more time. It's almost like how to like use this thing, this palette knife, for example, is as involved as everything else, right? Because I need to know how to scoop stuff up without scooping up too much. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it does. You're gonna have to get there. There's no, I hate to tell you this, you're gonna have to do it. If you want to advance, right, in your painting. But the good news is you can, as you can adjust, and what's really nice about oil, but also you can do it in watercolor as well, or any colors. If I put too much of a dark color in, I don't try to save that pile of color. I take a tiny bit of that and move it, and then try to create a new mix with the versions, with the amount that I need.
I think that's exactly the mistake I was making.
Yes.
Thank you. I'll
So
try
you're
that.
welcome. And this is really fun because if you could, I could keep going down, right? If I'm like, oh, now I want to make a lighter version of this, I can just keep coming down. My original mix is not, I can add a little white, right? I can add a little bit more yellow. My original mix is not disturbed, but you can sort of see the evolution of the mixes. It's really fun. All right, sorry, somebody sent me something. Let me see. Yeah. All right. So, Andy and Pat, go ahead and send me, when you feel you have a good, what I would call a, so let's call this a 3 and a 4 mix, send it over and I'll take a look. And you'll notice that those of us who are pretty good with color, I think one of the things that we can do is we can look at a pile of paint and go, oh, it needs a little bit more of this. It needs a little bit more of that. So if you're struggling with a color, you can send the pile over. We might say, you're going to have to try it again. Or you know, oh, it just needs a little bit more blue. It just needs a little bit more red. Like, I think those are, that's what it's, you get to the point where you understand what color is missing. And if you think about it like this, these are just the 3 primary colors. I mix 2 of them to make orange. And then I add the complement of orange, which is blue, in to make the shadow. So if my blue goes in and it looks too green, or it does not look like orange, or it looks too brown, or it looks too this or that, I can switch that by kind of adjusting my other 2. So if it's too, like, I don't know, when you put in a little bit of blue, it looks too green, you can add a touch more red, right? If you put in it looks a little bit too muddy, you can put a touch more yellow. Like, so you start to see that you're adjusting your original orangey mix as well.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
okay. You just
right
have to
now,
get,
the mixture I was trying to make for a shadow, it came out a bit green.
so I'd add a little bit more red.
Thank you.
Try that. And if you don't like it, take a little bit, take a dot of the green, put it in a new mixing area and add more red and orange, you know, sort of orange. So if you don't like that pile, and the reason it's looking green is that the yellow is dominating more than the red in the orange mix, which is why when you put the blue in, it looks green. I guess if, like, it would look kind of purplish if you didn't have enough yellow.
Diana, did you say burnt sienna or did you say ochre? Burnt sienna, right?
Burnt sienna, yeah.
Thank you.
Burnt sienna and what?
And blue, and ultramarine blue.
For the shadow.
For the
Shadow.
shadow. Oh, okay.
I would not try that.
Okay.
Not for
Don't.
orange. Not you can try it, Sandra. Not for oil. Not for oil. I want you guys to stick with the colors you've got.
Oh, okay. I see what you're
Don't get distracted, Pat. Eye on the prize. Eye on the prize.
Yeah,
Where's
listen to
that?
Leah.
Where's all that?
Listen to Leah.
With watercolor, it's an entirely different thing because she's able to mix really quickly and like move things around. I might have you do blue and burnt sienna for the shadow, of the orange.
That's shadow I'm talking about.
Oh, you mean the cast shadow?
Yeah.
Yeah, she said
Not
that.
the
no,
one
I'm
that's
talking
actually
about
on the orange.
actually the
Oh, okay,
shadow.
well, yeah, do that.
I'm talking about actually the shadow that falls on the orange, in the middle orange.
The leaf shadow.
Oh, yeah. That can also, yes, because it's so dark. Burnt
Yeah.
sienna, and yes, absolutely. We'll do that too. Pat, what is that? Is that
The
just
shadow is on
orange?
the bottom left.
Okay, hold on.
And it's supposed to be the dark on the top right and the medium on the, but they're a
Hold on,
little
let
too
me
much the
see.
same, I think.
They really do. Yeah, they don't look at all distinct to me. So I would add a touch more blue. So it's the bottom is the
Bottom right, or bottom one is the
The-
shadow, yeah.
Okay, so I think you need a little bit more blue and a little bit more red in your shadow.
Okay.
And then you maybe need a little bit more. Anyway, well, let's see what happens.
I'm trying to make the light color without using white, and I don't know if I'm going to be successful.
Well, you need to make more yellow, less red.
Yeah.
That's how you do that. Also, you're using a slightly cooler red than I am. My red is very easily making yellow. Sorry, you're using a cooler yellow than I am. My yellow, this cad yellow medium, is making a really beautiful orange because it's almost orange itself. So all it needed was a little bit of red. Yours is a little bit cooler. It's got more white in it. It's gonna like.
You want that strong cadmium yellow.
Yeah. It's really one of the places where cadmium helps. But Diana's right. So for any of the really dark shadows, but I don't want you guys focusing, those of you in oil, don't focus on that yet. You don't need to. But here, this shadow, the cast shadow that's actually on the orange, these dark shadows, we will probably use burnt sienna and ultramarine blue to mix those. We're just not there yet. I want to see your mixes, and then I'll show you how to apply them. Remember, this is basics, so we're back in boot camp.
Okay.
Getting better. It's looking kind of muddy. Add a little bit more red to your
Okay.
dark. Add a little bit more red to your dark.
To my shadow or to my dark?
Shadow, to your shadow.
Okay.
Then I think you're there. And Andy, I'd like to see yours before we go on. Your mixes. I know it's like, I know it's hard. I was laughing. I was teaching a class of face drawing basics to two very beginners on Thursday, and Jean and Mariana. And I was like, oh, Jessica and I were like just running them through their faces, like, nope, right? Because faces are so hard anyway. And at the end, we were laughing, just like, I know it's hard to put yourself out there and be pretty clear you're wrong, right? And not really know how to fix it, but you kind of have to do that so I can see it and help. So don't feel like anybody's judging you for not getting this
no.
right the first time.
I
right?
lost that a long time ago.
Good, that's good.
Oh, by the way, Leah, the green that I really love is not hooker's green, it's sap green.
Oh.
I love sap green right out of a tube.
Oh, we were laughing so hard about that. Not bad. And a touch more blue, Pat, in there, just a touch more blue. You're close.
Okay.
And then you're almost, I think you're there. Jessica, the other thing Jessica and I were laughing about is how like you get sort of attached to or cannot stand colors. For Jessica and I, we both hate sap green. So talking about, and then she said she took a portrait class where the guy started the portrait with sap green. Can you believe it?
I thought you said
guess-
it was hooker's green.
No, sap, that's the one. And although when I think about it, sap green is a little bit like raw umber, which many people will start a portrait with. which is kind of a greeny brown. And it isn't bad for a base. Anyway, she said she was just laughing. We were both laughing about it. I'm like, I know, I have such a thing against it. When you have a real thing against a color, you have to find yourself trying to use it. The other color I've been leery of for a long time is phthalo blue. I find it kind of overwhelming and hard to control. And finally, I started including phthalo blue in all my acrylic paintings, and now I love it. I'm like, this is great.
I love phthalo blue.
Yeah, I mean, I use it, but it's like I was always like, ooh, be careful with that one. It's too overwhelming.
But it's also so great as a mix for blacks and
It is. And also I've been doing glazes, underglazes with it. So once I do my red portrait, I will do a phthalo blue glaze over the top, and it's amazing. Like, it just gives the depth that you couldn't even imagine. All right, Pat, I think you're about ready. Andy, I'm just waiting for you.
Cool. I'm getting nowhere.
Give me 1 sec.
I want to see your mixes. I want to see your dark, and I want to see your medium. So I need to see one of your, so one color is, red, yellow with a little blue, and it's your dark. The other color is just red and yellow. It should be your medium. I want to see them next to each other. Trying to decide if I want to stick with this brush or what's wrong with you, brush? This is weird. Huh.
Mine is going so slowly.
Are you using working on Jack?
Yeah.
Which one? The one that you were working on the other day, or a different one?
Yeah, no, the same. But I haven't touched it since I sent.
So this really tells you something, Diana, that this is a challenging composition.
Yeah, but
but now it's starting to kind of look, but it's now you're starting to get somewhere. I see you starting to play with that, but it's this kind of weird, awkward pose, right?
It is.
But you're getting there.
I'm not in love with it, but I'll try to finish it.
You're going to learn something by doing it. So it's good to do it. You're learning from doing this. But observe, one of the things you're learning is as you're doing it, the awkward poses are really hard. Like, they're hard to get. Like, there is a type of composition that's not awkward, and it flows more, right? Whereas this one, you're having to push it a lot more. However, in the pushing, you will make some interesting discoveries as well. So it's worth it to kind of have them both.
Yeah.
Just observe it. This whole thing is just an observation.
Everything is an exercise.
Right? All of it is an exercise.
I like the real one. I haven't finished this one either, but I can hold it up. But this one I like more because it feels like the old fashioned.
It really does. I never saw hold on. I'm going to add a spotlight so we can see that. Oh yeah, that did turn out well. And that's the actors,
very nice,
right? That's the actors?
No, this is the real Jack Johnson.
Oh, I thought it looked like the actor. Well, maybe you got the
Nice.
actor who really looked like him.
Looks a lot like him. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is an easier one, right? Because it's a little bit less. Yeah, I know you worked hard on that one, but
I'm not finished. I'm not finished, but I'm almost.
yeah, you're mostly finished.
Yeah.
There may be one or two things you'll do. Yeah, you're like, very nice. I never saw the end of that.
But I felt more connected to that one.
Yeah, it's because it's a better pose. Really.
Yeah. It is. And it feels like it comes from that time, that kind of pose.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
It's olden times.
I got so many pictures of those, my relatives in those poses.
Yeah. I'm working on a portrait right now with someone's relative in a pose like that. And it's funny, she's very serious, but I keep seeing her smiling beneath the seriousness, right? Like, you can tell which people smiled a lot.
Yeah, they didn't smile a lot in the old.
In the
time.
photo, right? But you can tell who's like
Yeah.
the smiler in real life.
I think
guess
you were
also
intimidated
because-
by the camera too.
But
Mhm.
yes, but if you smile a lot, it affects your daily lines.
Yeah, you can sort of see it. I keep seeing her, like I keep looking at this and I can see her smiling, even though she's not smiling at all. I can see her smiling. And when I look at it upside down in particular, there's a quirk up that she can't hide. That's really pronounced. It's funny. How are we doing on mixing? Let's see. Okay, so Andy, if you will notice, if I turn this into a black and white, which I'm about to do, you will see no difference in value, which means that you need to get darker with your dark mix. It's the same value. So here, as an example, I just saved it here. Hold on, takes me a second.
I'm just gonna go out with the dog. I'll be right back.
Okay,
So Leah, there's 3 piles there. And the dark pile is on the upper right. You're saying
yes,
that's-
absolutely. It does not look any darker than your light pile. Sorry.
because the others don't have any blue in it. Okay.
Turn it into a black and white and you will see what I mean. Turn it into a black and white.
I don't have any lights in my black and white, but that can come later, right? 'Cause I wasn't really trying for a light.
No, but there still should be a difference between the medium and the dark. You don't need a light yet.
I gotta still add some yellow.
Frank did it for me.
I'm going to show you, Andy. You can do it or I will do it. It's going to take me a little bit to do it, but I'm going to show you how this does not in any way, when you turn it into here. So now I can edit it. I have to pull it out of WhatsApp and then to Messenger. Here it is. So if I turn this into a black and white,
I am gonna bite the bullet and add white.
here you go. Andy, here's your palette in black and white.
Ah, that was a mistake.
See it? Oh, wait. See it? Look at the difference. There's your palette in black and white. There is literally not one difference in value between those things.
Now I have to start over.
Take a little bit of your,
That white did not work.
yeah, don't use white, Pat.
Yeah, I just
Don't
threw
use
it
white.
away what I made with the white.
Yep. Andy, can you see what I'm saying? Absolutely no difference in value.
And you're on mute.
He might be doing something. Anyways. Pat, do you see this? The difference in Andy's palette?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, now let me show you something because the last problem I solved in my big painting involved this.
I've been here. I have paint on my hands, so it's
Oh,
hard
got
to
it, got it.
reach for the
So,
computer. to
right.
get off mute quickly.
So I want you to look at this color, look at the depth. Can you see the difference? Now, if I take a picture of this, here, I'll send this over and then I'll do a black and white, right? If you look at these. And now if
Ooh.
so that's my mixes. Here, hold on, I'm just gonna take a picture.
Send you a picture of my leaf because it looks good right now. I don't know if it's going to dry good, but
All right, if you look at this.
Oh yeah, that the shadow is perfect because it shows that it's orange under, but it's really dark.
Let's see.
And you see a difference between the leaf.
Yep, that's great.
Yep.
Perfect. Perfect. Yep, very nice.
Okay.
Good job, Sandra.
Yeah.
You're holding it. So now I'm going to put this forward so you can see my palette in, you will see my dark and my light in black and white. See the difference? There's a difference
There's a
between
big
this one and
difference.
this one in black and white. This is lighter, this is darker. There's a difference in value. Now, while you guys are trying to mix the right values, and that's why you're here in class, and that's why this class is 3 hours, so don't worry about it. Do your best. Keep trying. Andy, you need to add much more blue, a bit more blue and more red, I believe, to get the color. Start with those. I'm going to send you an interesting problem that I solved with my last painting. If I can find it. Oh yeah. So when my painting was at this stage, I'm going to send it through. It was not working and I could not figure out why. Oops, no. What's that? Ah, don't mind me. So if you look at the painting at this stage in color, this is the painting before I finished it. And I was staring at I wanted it to be light and get darker. And I was staring at this version of it. If you look at it across, I sent it across the thread. It didn't look right. And I couldn't really figure out what was going on. Then I turned it into a black and white. This is not the finish. Follow me. Then I turned it into a black and white. That same version. Wait, I have to do it again.
The brown and purple are the same value.
Nope.
But is it also the sky that this
I'll
The,
show you.
the
This-
green and the blue or the sky are the same value.
They're the same value, exactly. Let me show you. It's amazing because it totally looks like that green is lighter, but it is
Mhm.
not. When I did a black and white and then I shifted it and you'll see I got much lighter in that area. Yes, excellent, you guys. You're picking it up exactly. That's why I wanted to show it to you. So here, hold on. I kept turning it into a black and white and then I didn't share it. So let me do that right now and I'll share it across. So you can see, then I did it in a black and white and I went, oh, that's the problem. Here, yeah, look at this. And you'll see there's literally no value difference. So don't feel bad, Andy, because like, obviously I struggle with it too.
Did you
See
send
that?
it?
we
Look at
don't
it.
see it.
It
Ah,
just
there
came
it is.
through.
Oh, yes.
Look at, no difference.
Mhm.
That is the black and white version of this painting. Isn't that
It's a little
amazing?
bit lighter,
It's not enough.
not enough. though.
That's why it doesn't look right. Then I lightened it. I just used yellow and white and it totally changed and I finished it. I don't think I have a photo of it entirely finished, but I have a photo of it later.
It's a really cool composition.
Oh yeah, it's a great, I think it turned out really great. Here it is. So then I lightened it. Here it is basically done. See the difference? So I lightened it.
Yeah.
And then and all of a sudden it looks better because I still have that greenish cast, but if you turn this into a black and white, you will actually see the value difference. You'll actually see it.
Mhm.
It was so interesting to me. I was like, what is wrong with that? And Commissioner and I were looking at it because we're at her house and I was like, do you see that? I like, this doesn't look quite right, does it? She's like, no, it doesn't really. Then I did the black and white. So just because you think you have more yellow in something or more blah, 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 doesn't mean, yeah, here we go. Here it is in black and white. And that's what we needed, was that shift. So sometimes things look like they're lighter or you think they're lighter. See, there you go. That's got the more dramatic shift and then it looks better. Looks right. So funny. There you go. All right, there we go, Andy. Now we're getting a little better. A touch more blue so it looks less brown. A touch more blue so it looks less brown and a little bit more kind of richy red. There you go. I feel like the point has been made about values. Right? Color and values. Sometimes when you're looking at something in color, it's hard to see the value differentiation, but you can see it makes a difference. If you don't, like in that big painting that I was doing, it's an 8-foot tall painting and 6.5 feet of that is sky, right? So there better well be some variation. Otherwise, it's going to be a really flat painting. There has to be value differentiation. All right. So everybody ready to start thinking about painting?
Yeah.
I'm going to do a reminder. Okay. So you're going to start with just laying paint down. And I'm starting with a slightly smaller brush. I can already see I'm going to need to mix more paint. Yep, more paint. I'm going to get this kind of dark orange color in here. If I want to, because I'm working in oil, I can totally do this. I can lay it in here, and here too, to have it. Then, without really cleaning my brush, well, I'm going to have to clean my brush. I'm dipping my brush in Gamsol, squeezing off the extra paint with my brush so that I can now scoop up more of this lighter color, this medium color. And I'm going to lay it next to, right now, adjacent to my dark. I might do the same thing here. And the same thing here. And then remember, I'm going to blend. So I'm going to take the lighter, because this line isn't so strong, this is a soft edge. So I'm going to take
What are you doing?
my lighter paint and I'm going horizontally, kind of tapping a little bit. I want to transition between light and dark, but I want it to be soft. I'm taking more light paint and I'm tapping because the orange has this kind of soft, yeah, you can see the transition. Same here. I totally need more yellow. Need to mix more orange. So I'm creating this soft edge so that there's still a transition. There's still a medium to dark, but it's a soft edge. So I'm being very sneaky. I told you we'd get a new subject, but really this is just like the subject we did last week, except last week you did spheres, and this week we're doing
Weird.
oranges. They're just like spheres. They're spheres really, but at least they're oranges and they're bright and they're pretty and it's that time of year and it's kind of fantastic. You also may want a little bit of your light kind of in here on the edge. It won't really show up until you might decide, oh, I don't quite have enough dark. So I'm pulling in, touch more dark here, right? Near the edge, kind of highlights that transition, but not like a crescent half moon. That's not what we're doing. We're doing a soft, squishy edge. Right. Then of course, I'm going to lighten my orange with no blue with even more yellow. So now I just have a tiny bit of red in here. Maybe I need a touch of white too, just a touch, not too much. Yeah, I think I need a touch of white, yellow and red to make my lightest color. And then I'm going to do that same thing, right, along this edge. Oh, it's definitely not showing as light enough. So I'm going way more yellowy light. There we go. I'm really paying attention to that edge. Because if I don't have that edge, you can't really see, but the edge has to be soft. So there has to be a transition from dark to light, dark to medium to dark to medium to light, but it has to be soft. And then the last thing I'm going to do is take a bit of white and kind of tap it in. A little bit like I might do a cloud. If you remember that, we're not really blending it in, we're kind of tapping using this kind of raggedy edge here. I might go a little bit. So welcome to the rest of your lesson. Welcome to the Karate Kid, painting oranges. Wax on. Wax off. And of course, I will do that with the other two as well. And what's great about oil is it doesn't dry. So, you know, I can lay these down here. Medium. So the light, you add more yellow and definitely a little bit of white to get your lightest orange of all. Definitely. And then if you're kind of feeling up for it, as Sandra and Diana were discussing, you can take burnt sienna and ultramarine blue to mix a dark shadow. So the shadow that's here Being burnt sienna, and that's a harder edge. You can kind of allow it to be a little bit, right? Like harder. And also these shadows underneath. But don't really focus on your orange, on your little orange ball there. Your first one, your second one, and your third one before you start getting into this stuff. I'm cleaning out my brush. Your brush might get kind of junky after a while if you're using the same one, so. Right.
Hey, Leah,
Yeah.
I have a problem, which is that I got I put this down on one of those smooth boards
Uh-huh.
and it's nowhere near dry. It's just like one ice sheet of Gamsol.
Oh,
And
then you
just-
should tap off your tap off the extra Gamsol with a paper towel and then go from there. Just dry, just you use too much Gamsol. Joe used to do that too. It's easy to use too much. So just wipe it off. Just tap it off with whatever.
I should
take a
say
paper-
everything here is wet. It's almost like I guess because it's the smooth board and it doesn't absorb like
Right, like
materials.
canvas would, right.
Yeah, it doesn't
So
absorb
tap
like
it off.
tape.
Tap
Yeah,
it
it doesn't
off.
absorb. Okay.
Or try mixing it because the truth, well, yeah, no, just get rid of the extra liquid.
Well, it's gonna pretty much get rid of the undercoat.
You can do it while leaving some paint. So get rid of it while leaving some paint. So just do a little tap to soak up the extra, the sort of slick. Just tap it off. Try not to remove everything. Just tap. Don't go like that with your, do a tap like this. Tap, 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 tap. Pull it up like that. Huh. I really like the leaves too. Sandra, now is the time to get your shadows in using that same mix. The base shadows, you know, the cast shadows, the really dark ones. And then I put in a kind of light bluish background, and then you'll go back in and adjust your shadows of your oranges to be slightly darker. It's looking nice. Boy, the leaves are looking great.
Yeah.
I love them. And your little light spot, I love the sort of the way the wet on wet is allowing this kind of texture in the light to medium areas to really go.
Oh, sorry, Leo's talking without
Oh, that's okay.
being on mute. I was gonna do the surface at the bottom and then the shadows. And I was gonna do some kind of purple, I think.
I would do the shadows first because they'll really anchor your piece more than the bottom. Start with the darkest areas first. That's gonna the darkest shadows. That's gonna anchor your pieces more than anything else right now. Then go to the background.
Oh no, oh I see. It's just that the shadows are gonna be a darker background, a darker surface.
That's right. So get that down first.
But it's easier in watercolor to layer and get
It is
darker.
not. Okay, so you don't really have to worry about getting this too dark because you can't really get it too dark. It's super dark. So lay it down and then work around it. Your bigger danger is if you're gonna do it the way you're thinking about doing it, you have the danger of going too dark here. So start by getting your shadows in because they're the darkest and everything else is going to be lighter than that.
Mm.
You won't even have that down to know it. Go ahead, do whatever you want. But my point is get your darks in because your darks are going to anchor these oranges more than anything else in that piece. They're going to make your oranges feel like they're sitting there. They're also going to help you make some decisions about how to deal with your shadow, which hasn't fully been resolved yet.
Which shadow?
The shadow on the orange.
Oh, right. Diminue this to go darker.
Pat, not bad. I feel like this line here
Mm-hmm.
is too, so number one, I don't think like your light is exactly light enough. So you could go a little bit lighter here, but also look at your line between your medium and your dark. It's like a straight line. So you want a softer edge between your medium and your dark. It's like a crescent moon. And so you could go a little bit darker. I'd go a little bit more blue and a little bit more red into your dark just to darken it enough.
The orange itself?
Yes, in the orange. itself.
Oh, okay. I missed
Your
that.
A,
somehow.
your so A, your edge is not soft. Right? Your edge is not
Right.
soft enough between your medium and your dark. And B, you're kind of in danger of losing your dark. So you need to darken it up a little bit more.
Okay,
That's what happens as you kind of go back and forth on this.
yeah.
Also, your blick is a little bit too solid too, so you might want to take your paint and spread it out a little bit, kind of
Okay.
tap it a little bit more. It's not
Okay.
so like in one area, it's kind of more sprinkled.
Okay,
I'm going to take a picture of this so you guys can really see it. And if you have questions,
keep them to yourself.
no, start with, no. If you have questions about your own, how your values are looking, take a picture and turn it black and white. So you can see them. You can really see that value difference. See, am I seeing it? Is it there? I'm kind of feeling like mine needs to be slightly darker, so I'm drifting in a touch more blue, right in there. Not too much, a bit of red on top. Oh yeah, that's nice. I add blue and then I usually add red to kind of soften the impact of the blue so it doesn't look so muddy. It has a sort of more orange, darky orange color. There we go. You could keep doing this forever. Honestly, never ends. It's funny how many artists I know are painting oranges right now. You go on Instagram, there's a lot. Everybody's getting the same idea as us, unless of course you're in Australia and it's summer there already. So this is the practice. The sphere, getting that soft edge. I'm gonna go in with a thinner brush, kind of work. Work in some of the cast shadows I was talking to Sandra about. Here, it's quite dark underneath. I'm using, since they're already on the palette, I'm using blue and brown to create a kind of a dark. Talk about green in a minute. I want to see where everybody's at with the oranges, and then we'll talk about greens for your leaves. So I know these oranges might be pissing you off right now, but aren't they kind of also cheering you up just in general? Like to look at them, it's kind of nice, right? Even if the orange is not doing what you want it to do, it's kind of nice, isn't it?
I'm not gonna go that far.
We've got another 50 minutes. In 10 minutes, I will show you, unless you get done sooner, you guys get done sooner. In 10 minutes, I'll show you how to do the leaves and the background. Now, remember, when you're cleaning up from oil paint, you do not dump the Gamsol down the sink. Do not. You need to put that dirty Gamsol in a jar, collect a jar, just start pouring your leftover Gamsol into it and sealing the jar. You can't get that back into the water stream.
No.
And where do you take the jar?
You eventually take it. Yeah, there you go, Sandra. See what I mean? You need to, you need to make sure your dark is like super dark for the shadows, right? You're going to need to get darker with those shadows. I would add in your background upper part now, maybe a blue, just to pop those oranges forward.
But you're doing a great job, Sandra.
It's doing great. You're doing really great, particularly wet on wet. What'd you say, Pat? I'm sorry. You said something. I forgot.
What do you do with that jar of Gamsol?
Eventually, you take, when it fills, you take it to the hazardous waste section of your dump. You pay to dispose it as a hazardous waste.
Does Pride have one of those?
What?
Oh, Leah knows what Pride is.
What's Pride? I don't know what Pride is.
The trash company.
That's your trash company. I don't know.
Oh,
Portland
it's
does.
not yours. Oh.
Portland does. Yeah, definitely. We have a dump and you can take hazardous waste and you can, but you pay for it a certain amount of, whoop, sorry, just kicked my desk. Yes. I don't know. I'm assuming you do, but you'll probably, nobody will pick it up for you. You have to drop it in. You have to drive it in yourself. I have 6 jars right now. I'm just waiting. I have so much space that I have no more room. The last time I collected all these jars of hazardous waste, I just moved and left them in the sink, underneath the sink.
That was before you got woke, right?
Right. No. I mean, I didn't never dumped it down the sink, right? I never dumped it down the sink. I just left it because I
Just
didn't
gave
have
it
the
to somebody
money.
else for their
next
problem.
I made it another person's problem, but now, of course, I own the house. I'm probably never going to leave it, and eventually, this shit's going to get in the way. Of all the things to like die and leave somebody to deal with, like dirty, hazardous, turpentine, and solvent and solution is the last thing I want to do. So I do actually have a plan.
Yeah, the scary part is what is that person gonna do with it when you leave it there?
That I
Dump it
don't
down
know.
the drain, probably.
Hopefully not.
Basically, when you've got too many jars, you just move house.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, now the blue.
Light, it should be a light blue. Go for like a cerulean or a turquoise or something fun like that. Something really pretty.
Cerulean?
But I love that, yeah, I know you know that you don't like the phthalo, but the phthalo red shade is interesting. Look.
Ooh, that's pretty too, but it's too dark right there. So remember,
Oh.
you should be lighter in your background. I think you'll want to be
Ultramarine?
lighter. What?
Ultramarine.
I
want
would
something-
say as I said, my suggestion is turquoise. You can do what you'd like, but I would say
Right.
turquoise and then add a little white to lighten it a little bit.
No, I don't want to use turquoise. Whatever. You know, I'm learning a lot from what was done on Friday.
Right. Oh shit. Oh, my battery's low. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, yeah. All right. Yes, carry on. Sorry.
No, and the ones I love on Friday, like kind of ultramarine blue,
Ultramarine blue is a beautiful color. It's a
because
beautiful.
it goes so well with the orange, and it's kind of
It's
punchy.
almost orange itself. Ultramarine has a little bit of red in it, so it's kind of on the orangey side of things. I like the ultramarine because it almost has a slightly purplish, warm hue to it.
Particularly the deep one.
It's beautiful, but like all kinds of blues. I mean, the big thing is my suggestion. I mean, it's true you could go totally dark on that top layer, but I think a light blue wash would really push your oranges forward. I think a dark background would dominate too much and it would feel a little unbalanced.
I'm gonna look on Friday. I'm getting inspired a lot by what was done on Friday.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe I should have done the bottom blue as well.
I'm gonna go get my charger.
I loved Olga's blue. In fact, I loved Olga's
I
color.
think that was phthalo.
Like this.
Yeah. I think that was phthalo or maybe a
Look at the
turquoise with
blue-green.
a little bit of green in it. I think she mixed something in there.
Maybe a Turk, maybe my Amazonite.
Yeah. I'll be
Maybe
right back.
Turk.
I'll be right back, you guys. All of my devices are running out of juice, so hang on, I'll be right back.
You're not prepared for a 3-hour class?
I just work by a plug.
I'm so tired of this picture.
Is this orange?
No,
No,
I'm
doing something else.
I'm making something completely different.
Maybe. Let's see.
Completely different.
Miss Muga, you can come over here if you want to. Now, Miss Muka might come over to visit. I let her out. You coming over, honey? No, she wants to be out. I'd like to show you how to mix the greens for the leaves. But I want to know where you guys are in your painting process of your oranges. Andy and Pat, can you send me where you're at, wherever that is?
Sure.
Don't sound so sad. I'm sure it's better than you think it is. Don't be sad.
Be sad. Be glad.
Look, Leo, I think I found it. Maybe
Let's see.
this one.
Oh, yeah. What is that?
It's ultramarine turquoise.
Oh, how fantastic.
Hmm.
All the greatness of ultramarine, all the greatness of turquoise. I love it. Okay. Oh, Pat, that's looking good. You're getting there. Beautiful. Your shadow is not dark enough. The cast shadow,
Okay.
you shouldn't be using the same color for that. If you notice, it looks almost blue in its darkness. So, but this is looking good. You're getting there. You're getting there.
So
You
what do I
kind
do?
of- Well, you're going to mix ultramarine. You're going to mix burnt sea. I would just take some ultramarine blue and put it on top of the shadow. Paint it on top of what you've got for the shadow already. The cast
right.
shadow. The
For some reason,
cast.
it's drying really quick. I'm using multimedia paper. So
Hmm.
it might be already dry.
Andy, I want to see where you're at. Send it over, please.
That didn't work.
Come on, little lady. Come over and say hi to everybody. You want to say hi?
Okay, that's definitely working.
All right. Add a little blue. Yes, so darken that cast shadow, which is like super dark. It's like the 5 of this world here. Here we are. All right, Andy, you're starting to get there. I see your problem. You now need to use much more paint. You need to get thicker with your paint. So let me show you what I mean by that. And I know it's partly this board problem
This,
that you're
this
having.
board is like, it's like, it skates around.
I
how
would
much I have
never,
it
well,
all.
yeah, but partly it's you're still mixing your stuff too thin a little bit. So let me show you. Hold on, I'm gonna move you over here. You're being a little too shy with your paint. And also, I think you also need to work on, well, you know, we need to work on all the things. We need to work on the, here, hold on, I'm plugging in my computer, so go out on us. There we go. Give me just a second.
Jeez, I'm just gonna have to give up and get more palette paper.
Okay.
Actually, that green might work for my my leaves that I just created.
So I want you, Andy, to pile up, you want to get all the sort of liquid off your brush. And then you really need to be piling up your paint. So you've got a lot more. I don't happen to have any yellow here at this exact moment, so I'm just going to pile up with what I've got. Look at all this pile of paint I've got. So that when I apply it, here, I'm applying it on paper right now. It's very thick, right? It's not, so you're really, it's almost like you're applying buttercream frosting. So you don't want, unlike the first layer, which you want to be very thin, right? The first layer, which is the Gamsol layer, that's going to look like this, where you just have, right, a bit of Gamsol and this. But the second layers should look more like you're trying to frost a cake. See the difference? So you want to really load your brush up with paints. You're not going to put any liquid on it. You're just going to be using paint.
It just so you know, there's no liquid on my brush. I haven't been using any. It just,
It's just, that's how, well, try loading more paint on your brush. Like so much that it kind of piles up like that. See that? Have you been using that much paint on your brush? And then
all I've been having on my brush has been paint, but I'll just, and when even when I start brushing, it just starts, there are these white spots that just appear because it just doesn't adhere to the to this canvas.
Well, that's weird. Then what you're using, we'll never use that again because
no, it's my last one.
Yeah.
It's my last one, and I thought since this was an exercise, I might as well use
just
it.
Try it. Now you're like, But honestly, look, I'm using a surface. I'm working with a surface that's absolutely not designed for oil paint. It's just paper. And I'm layering it on so that it's really thick. I'm not doing this thing. I'm not going like that, right? When I do that, it doesn't, there's more time for, but if I'm kind of piling it on and tapping it, this is the better move, not this. I can see you're doing this. That's not helping you. This is the move. Tap, 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 layer, tap in small. Yeah. All right, but let's talk about green for a second. Trying to decide if we have anything. I think I might, for simplicity's sake, I might add a little bit of Viridian green. Let me go get it. Okay. So you're not going to really find a green that's going to come out of the tube and work for a natural color. I'm bringing up some Viridian green. I'm going to put it right here. And then I'm gonna mix in a little bit of yellow. Whatever yellow you've been using for your orange, you can totally use in your green. Yellow it up a bit. And then I'm gonna take a little cadmium red and mix that in too. That makes kind of a nice, oh, it's pretty dark actually, it's nice. Kind of a nice dark. Oh, this is the wrong brush here. You might want to switch to a slightly smaller brush where you have a little bit more control. Here. Right. So it's dark here. Gosh, it could get even darker. So I'm adding a little bit of burnt sienna and ultramarine blue to my Viridian green to get the darkest dark. It's fairly dark here too. So here you can kind of go darker and medium on your leaves. So just remember that your leaves are going to have a little bit of red in them. That's the key thing to remember here. Well, I'm sorry about that substrate. I still feel, Andy, there's a little bit of user error going on there, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, I don't mean to sound defensive. I'm
Right,
certain
right.
there's user error, but I'm not denying user error. I'm just saying this is very frustrating.
This is a stupid substrate, and yes, it's annoying as hell. Okay, I feel you.
Don't ever think that I'm denying user error. I realized that probably sounded defensive. It was probably more frustration.
Not at all. No, not defensive. Just more like I don't ever view it as defensive. I just view it as like, oh yeah, I don't think it's like it's very often a technique. It's like when Sandra was saying earlier, I struggle to mix colors, and I'm like, well, you need to mix, right? You need to like make a new pile for your mix. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. So there's all these like little things that can like change that, but it does look really annoying. I'm sorry about that. Well, anyway, it's just an exercise, right?
I've sent you the oranges. Yeah.
How do you feel about them?
I'm still messing around with a wash,
Nice.
probably making it worse and worse, but
Oh, I don't
I
know.
like the color.
Hold on, let me see. Just a second. Okay.
Oh, there-
Then you can pick any color for your background. I recommend blue just because, here, hold on, let me go get my, let me get this so I can see.
Is it just glistering in the background? Is it reflections, or did you do it like that with little whiter and bluer?
Well, Sandra, that looks just lovely.
Yeah.
Because I'm messing, I'm trying to
You're playing.
make it more even and making it less even.
Yeah.
It
I
should
think-
probably be more even if you could.
I'm gonna wait till it dries at this
Yeah,
stage.
great idea.
Yeah.
Great idea. Then you can get it, really the only thing you need to go in is get it in dark in here. Right?
Dark in where? Oh,
Darken
the
in
oranges
the
itself.
shadows of the orange, which we discussed at the beginning, but it's easier to see.
Because they've gotten yet lighter, you know, keeps
Yeah.
lightening.
Yeah.
When they dry, they lighten a little bit in watercolor. So.
Or
right,
sometimes, like, you have to do it 5 or 6 times before you
Yeah.
finally.
Exactly. Otherwise, it looks pretty great.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Well-
tired. I'm pretty tired of my picture. Maybe I'll put in the hands before I finish, but
Yeah, there you go. Do just the hands. That's it. That's all you have to do. Then you're done
no, I not that I'm done, but for today.
for today.
Yeah,
Good to
no.
give yourself a little goal like that. So as Sandra and I were talking about blue, I'm kind of mixing the ultramarine blue because I've got it on the canvas already with white. And then if you'll notice, it kind of makes a nice, I can put this kind of quickly around the edge. Oh, I need a little bit more blue and a little bit. Right, both.
I'll send you where I'm at, see if I
Yes,
have the
please do.
energy to go on.
And in the meantime, I'm trying, and I'm sorry, guys, I'm just trying to quickly do this so that you can see it. If I want to, I could even go lighter. But you see how, as I start to add the blue in, how much that makes the oranges kind of go, oh, I feel pretty. Yes, the oranges are now saying, they're now singing the song to the,
Yeah,
I feel pretty.
I like that little bit grayer in the blue. Maybe that's what you should try, Sandra. Go a little bit not so bright blue in the background.
Well, it
You mean
will
like
compete.
Put a different color or put a lighter color?
No, gray it.
Gray
Gray
it a
your
little bit.
blue. Gray your blue.
Why?
It's
To get
competing
the
a little
oranges
bit.
pop more, to make the oranges pop more.
It's competing a little bit with your orange.
Yeah, it's the same, a little bit
Oh.
of the same tone as it is.
Hey, Leah,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I should have written this down. For the leaves are viridian
yellow and a little bit of red.
and red?
Mhm.
Okay, no
Mm,
blue.
mm.
Okay.
And you don't have to do it, it's just a suggestion.
To put for it's very difficult to control watercolor washes. I'm not very good at it.
I see why you, yep.
Gray, to put actually a gray or to put
To gray the blue.
Yeah,
But
so
how do
mix
you
in a
gray
little bit gray.
Okay, hold on. You
Yeah.
know how to gray blue. How do you gray blue? How do you gray blue?
you put some black?
No.
I know.
Ah, you put some orange.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, good job, Pat.
Well, but I don't think it's necessary. This is watercolor. It's not necessarily going to mix.
It is going to mix. Come on, Sandra. Come on, come
I'm going to
on.
test it. I'm going to test it now on my
But
sheet.
don't tell me that it won't mix. It's not gonna, it totally mixes. It totally mixes. If you're going
Yeah,
to gray any
test it
color,
separately.
you use the
No.
complement.
It doesn't work.
It may not work with yours, but like that particular color, but like the point is made and you should never think, please never.
No, but
use-
look, this is what it looks like. It's like greenish
Let me
now.
see.
If I put some orange.
I said red. Oh, orange.
This was-
Try burnt sienna. Try burnt sienna.
You're gonna
I agree
dull
with
lovely
Diana.
blue.
Okay, but this is a mixing prowess. This is a mixing issue. It's not really a,
It's
watercolor is the
Like a-
same as anything else. I want to make that clear. Watercolor is the same as everything else. It's just got,
burnt sienna.
did burnt sienna. There you go. Burnt sienna almost always is the solution, by the way. Because it can be red and orange. Black is never the solution, by the way. Never, ever. Okay. So let's see where you guys get to.
Yeah, I sent you where I'm at, but I'm gonna try to put in the hands a little bit.
Good for you. The hands are bitch. That's really like,
At
Good.
least sketch them in.
it's like the word, yes, it's like the thing that you make yourself do before you quit, because wow, that's super hard. Let's see here. I'm sorry, here, let me take a look. Sorry, I got distracted by finishing the painting.
No, that doesn't look very nice look.
No, maybe.
No, I'm not gonna do it.
Okay. There's probably a little bit, could use a little bit more blue in that mix, but don't,
Don't
anyway,
sweat it.
don't sweat it.
Well,
But that's the idea, is that if you're trying to gray like sometimes your background needs to be grayer, whatever color it is, you need to push it back a little, you need to neutralize it a little bit, because you don't want it to compete too much with your subject.
but actually, blue was almost as important to me as the oranges. So I'm happy for it to compete.
I think if you want a successful painting, you want your oranges to come forward.
Well,
and your
let's put it
background
this
to go
way.
back.
I'm not gonna hang this one on the wall.
Right,
No
well,
matter
so,
what I
but this is so I'm just trying to give you we're trying to give you problem solving for an act,
No, but I don't think it's a problem.
Okay.
And I don't want to make it more
Oh,
dull, like the bottom background.
okay. This is looking good, Diana.
You think?
Yes, put in the hand, and
Yeah,
then you're
I'm
done.
doing that now.
Anyway, Sandra, this is a successful painting, so it's not like it's not a successful painting. It's working, coming along. I'm just trying to give you some principles about how to think about. I'm trying to get you thinking more like a painter, right? I want you to think like a painter, and this is part of thinking like a painter. It's just that's all I'm trying to do is sort of outline. We're just trying to outline a principle of that. You once again, of course.
Some faint gray maybe. But
What's that?
Oh, I have an idea. I mean, there's a couple of things I can do.
Ooh, now I'm curious. I mean, the mark making is beautiful.
I mean,
The drawing is terrific.
did you see the goat? That
Just need a goat in your painting.
Hey, did you
to put
see
a
the
goat in
goat?
there?
Did you see the goat Sandra did?
I did.
It turned out so beautiful.
It turned out great.
I'm
It
gonna
turned
give
out
it a
great.
look.
Yes, it turned out gorgeous. I also get what you're saying, Sandra, about the washes and not being able to control them. It is a different way of, because you're really letting your wash provide your texture. And so it's, if you don't have like control of the mixing, that can feel very challenging. I totally get it. I totally get that too. Watercolor, it's more important, right? With oil and acrylic, we can kind of muck it up and then wait till it dries and start out, and sort of layer on top, which is not really a luxury you have with watercolor. You have to be a
I'm
little
trying
bit
a
more
couple of
precise.
things and I'll show you.
Okay, okay, good, 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 good. I'm excited. Oh, Luca's looking at me like, I thought you were gonna play with me.
There's this one and that one.
Ooh,
I like
which
this.
one? I like that one. I like
Yeah.
that one. Yeah.
But
Nice.
is it-
What is that?
I don't know. So this is adding lunar blue, which is a blue that has some gray in it. It's a bluish gray.
Ooh. I like it.
Like that.
I
I
like
need
that
to
too.
let it dry some more.
Yeah. I
I'm gonna close the
appreciate
blind.
this.
Night already.
Now you're thinking like a painter, my dear.
But I still loved my turquoise.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. No question. I'm like right there with you. I mean, who doesn't love a turquoise? Like, who does not love turquoise? A turquoise sky. Like, it's so magic. But I like this is nuanced. This is like advanced thinking. I like it. It's just kind of pushing along your understanding of the color and what it will do. You'll notice that very often Diana will, that one of the reasons her colors vibrate so much is that she neutralizes, she has a background that works in harmony, but also is a little bit neutral to kind of, but they're never boring. Like neutral isn't boring, right? It's like, and I can see my blue is very neutral in the background, particularly, well, actually on both the top and the bottom, it became very neutral. we have this idea, right, that all of our colors should be bright. But in many cases, kind of half of our colors on our paintings are grayed. So they're kind of shadow, they're neutralized into a shadow to really emphasize the colors that are bright. It's just not what you think it is, right? You think it should be the other way around. You know, more bright color the better, but it never is like that. It's funny how few color, when you really get into color, you realize how few colors you need to make a really beautiful, colorful painting.
Well, now I haven't done the hands, but I've sketched them in.
Okay, let's see. Then you're excused. You can go have dinner now. Or lunch or whatever.
I've sketched them in, but that's all.
I'm going to show you a little bit, see whether you like it or whether I should wipe it off.
Okay. Send it over, my sweet.
Here, look.
Yeah, I think that works much better.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Really, I don't like
better.
it as much, but
You don't? Okay, well then if you don't do it, if you don't like it, Sandra, don't do it. Like absolutely, if you don't like it, we just want you to play with the options. Don't do it. But I want you to I want you to feel like you have control over your end results, right?
I'm just going to do another wash of the same and see what happens.
Okay.
Unify it at least a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've just sketched in the hands, so they're not hands yet. They are where they're supposed to be.
Oh, nice. Yep, perfect. I don't know, actually, Diana, you might end up really liking this painting.
Presumably I'm making it worse like this.
Let me see.
It's a little bit too bright.
You're so funny. I'll never criticize turquoise in a painting. I think like turquoise is awesome. I love turquoise.
But Leah loves it, so.
I like
So
it.
do I. I want
But
to.
Diana, you're totally right. Like you're totally right on that too. The instinct is absolutely right to push that back. Look at how even as you've been doing it, I've been dulling down my blue in the background, and I really like what it does to my oranges. I like how it pushes my oranges forward.
The only reason I did oranges is so that I could use my blue.
Right.
Yeah, I actually gonna break now.
All right, darling. We'll see you next week.
Of
Same
course.
time, same bad channel.
Bye, Diana.
Bye.
Thank you.
Luca's coming over.
Hey, guys.
Lucas
Bye.
coming over, and she would like to say hello. Here she is.
Oh.
Oh, hello, Muka.
Hello,
You've got a naughty brother.
He's such a bad brother. Look at her. She's just like, I am so put upon. But you know, what's amazing about her is, although he bothers her every day, like every day, there's not a day he doesn't bother her. She's still a happy cat, right? Except when he's bothering her. She doesn't like hold on to it like a person would. She's just
like
like
living hell, you mean?
right. And like, she's not pissed off all the time.
But it probably
and-
makes her life more interesting.
Maybe, I think so. Yeah, probably not the way any of us expected, but I mean, you know, now she gets lots of extra attention from both of us. So I
Oh,
think
good.
she likes that. Like, you know, so there's that. Here she is. She gets lots of time alone away from him. He just can't seem to help himself.
So look,
Here
that's
she
how
is.
it looks now. Oh, everybody's gone?
Just Diana. Oh God, so I actually think that looks great, Sandra. You got it. I think you
Okay,
got
good.
it. Are you happy with it?
Yes.
I
I mean,
like
you
it.
know, I'm not
Yeah.
that skilled with a brush and I can tell the edges, you know, the oranges are not like.
Yeah. It's all practice, right?
Well,
When you've done a lot of them, you know, you're better than you were last year. Imagine how you'll be a
Definitely.
year from now. I don't even think in terms of anything less than like 2 years anymore when it comes to painting.
But what people did on Friday really helped me because I saw what I liked and what part of it I
Right.
liked and why.
Right. Yeah. I
So
thought
I'm
people did a great
from
job
that.
with this assignment on Friday, didn't you?
Yes,
thought they did a
absolutely.
good
There were
job.
many very good ones.
Yeah, I think so too. Here we go, little lady. I know she's like, she's having such a good time. It's just us. Hey, it's sunny outside. Is it sunny there? Andy, is it sunny where you are? Is it sunny?
It is dark and it's about 20 degrees and falling.
Oh my God.
Dark here too. Where are you, Andy?
I'm in New Jersey, but
Oh,
so
okay. So
I actually like the cold. So
I'm
So you're
ready.
happy. I know you're like a skier and all of that stuff, right? You do all of that
yeah,
stuff. Cool.
I'm taking the tape off.
I also like summer too, by the way. Don't get me wrong. But I'm perfectly fine in winter as well.
Nice. Do you jog in the winter?
I do.
So you just like buckle up a little, bundle up a little bit?
Exactly. Yeah. What's the phrase? You know, there's no bad weather, just bad clothing.
Right.
It doesn't always
Never heard
work,
that
by
one.
the way.
Right. Yeah. we have a woman who does plein air painting who's in Queens.
Oh
in
my
our
gosh.
classes, in a lot of our classes, and she loves the winter. It's absolutely her favorite. And the other day she posted a picture of herself, and she was, not only did she have like the electric socks, the thermos full of hot electric socks. Yes, she has electric socks, or battery operated warm socks. She had a little piece of warm carpet that she was standing on.
No way.
Yeah, like I was like, what have you done? Oh my God, it was so funny. She's really got all the gear.
I'm kind of rushing a little bit because I know we're about out of time. I'm going to send you something.
Okay, please do. Send me where you're at. We of course this is a recorded lesson. It's a good one, I think, to keep. So I'll just have Holly post
I'll be right back. I'm just going to try to see if there's any daylight out to get a better picture than this.
Okay,
Overnight.
that's also true. You guys are dealing with less light than we are now. Pat, how does it feel to be back painting spheres? Are you cursing me yet?
They're a little bit less challenging, so that feels good.
Okay, that's good. So, right, because it's the repetition of it, right?
Yeah.
I
Well, and
think
everything else we've done all year.
I'm gonna I think we might do apples next. I haven't decided. I'm gonna maybe cups so that we can
We're
talk
still in
about.
Oh,
January.
lemons. We can do the lemons again here.
Oh yeah, we're totally gonna
In
do
bright
lemons.
colors.
Maybe I'll do lemons. That's a good idea. I'll take a look. I'll look at what I can find the best picture of. Lemons might be good because it's kind of a similar edges to what we use with oranges. That's a good idea. And they're so pretty. I'll get Diana to send me some.
Yes,
photos.
exactly. We can use more blue with this yellow.
Right? Blue,
I sent you
blue,
my
blue.
oranges and a picture of Dragon who's
Okay.
watching me.
Who's watching? Luca's standing behind me on my chair here. Oh, yeah, Pat, that's coming. Oh, Dragon. All right, Auntie, you're getting there. So I like the value differentiation. What you want to work on now is softening that edge more, right? Which means taking, here, hold on. So you just want to work on softening that edge more, which means taking, which is may just be the function of, I still see you doing, I think, a lot of these movements. So here, I'm going to do it right on my painting, so you don't think it's just something that can't be corrected. So I see a lot of this happening. See that? I'm seeing a lot of this marks in your canvas. When you paint like this, you get these striated, very hard edges. Can you see that? You see how I just lost all my nice edges? Because I'm painting like this.
And it's in part because when I dab, it got really weird and I was just trying to get a base layer down, figuring I would go back over it.
Right. So now when you go back over it, so you can see I just changed it around, right? Now I'm dabbing with the lighter color and I'm kind of pushing a little bit this way. See how that gets fixed pretty easily?
Yep.
Those vertical. So just remember to go vertical, horizontal, right?
Just with little dabby motions.
Little dabby motions, pushy motions. It's almost like I'm kind of leaning my brush and I'm kind of tap pushing. So ridiculous, the things that we do with brushes when you think about it. It's kind of absurd and funny. Here, hold on, I'm trying to get.
And I'm not happy with all the values either, but it's closer than.
It's definitely closer. So just keep working on it. And if you want to, let the thing dry, right? Let it dry for a day or two, and then go back in with just paint. Once it dries, you should be able to. Do you see how I just got rid of that?
Yeah.
That line that I added in there. So let it dry for a day or two, and then go back in and try this again, but with no, just with paint, with no medium. If that makes sense.
Totally.
So this is not lost, even though that board is really dumb and annoying, right? Like it's annoying.
No, I think I can salvage it now, but it's just
just let it slow.
Effort.
So now you're kind of learning. So this is really interesting because I really do feel strongly that you guys should use. And here, hold on. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to remove the spotlight here. Let's go into gallery view for a second. So Pat and Andy, I think it's really important that you use oil because I think some things about it are easier, including the fact that things don't dry right away. But then some things are a pain in the ass because they don't dry right away. You know what I'm saying? Like there is also the challenge of things not drying right away. There is that challenge. So that's the thing we're kind of balancing. It makes things like mixing easier. But also there's this point in which like things get too muddy and you just can't do anything with it until it dries. So on the one hand, it's easier. On the other hand, it's kind of a pain. You know, there's pains about it, but I think it's I think still it's easier than not. I think it's still easier than acrylic in the sense that like you can make a pile of paint and it will stay that way. So if you want to, you can even freeze your palette, cover it with plastic and freeze it put it in the freezer, and it should still be good when you pull it out again to work on it a week later or a couple days later. So nice work today, everybody. Yeah.
Do I need to fix the left-hand side of the big orange? Well, they're all the same side. The left orange.
Hold on a second. Let me look. The big one?
Yeah.
When you say that, what do you mean?
Well, it seems like it's turned sideways like that instead of being like that.
It seems like the big orange. Oh, you mean you think it's turning this way rather than this way? If you get more light in, you will be able to, on the light side, you'll be able to reshape that dark side.
Oh, okay.
The other thing is you really look at Sandra's cast shadow under her biggest orange. Look at how dark that is. It's not, hello, dragon. Dragon's like, I heard my mommy's voice. What is that? If you look at Sandra's, which is the one in between yours and Andy's, right?
But I can't make that color out of red and yellow.
You're not supposed to make that color out of red and yellow. You're supposed to make that color out of burnt sienna and ultramarine blue.
Shoot. Okay.
Then remember, I asked you to put blue in it just to darken it, to see if you could darken it. So you're not using the same shadow on your orange as you are on the surface, right?
As you are on the surface.
The cast
okay.
shadow is darker and it's not the same subject. So it can
That's
be
what
dark.
my problem is.
Yeah.
I understand my problem now.
Yep. All right. Great. Anyway, you guys, this is really great. Maybe we'll do lemons next week because it's kind of a nice like transition.
Nice and bright too.
And they're a pain in the ass to mix because, you know, yellow and purple, but we're going to do it.
Why
they're
purple?
nice.
Yeah.
Huh?
Why purple?
Because, okay, come on. Am I really telling you the answer to this question?
I know.
Oh, no.
Why are you asking me? Next question. All right, you guys, great work today. I will see you all next week. Hopefully you'll join anytime. I hope everybody has a great week.
Thanks for all your help.
Bye, Andy. Great work today.
Thanks.
Let's get you some
Bye,
canvas
guys.
paper. We need.
Yeah,
canvas
well,
sheets.
that's
Let's
what
get you some canvas sheets.
that's where I'm off to this week, I imagine.
Awesome. All right, you guys, we'll see you later.
Have a great
Bye.
week, everyone.
You too.
You too, Andy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.